Yesterday, a video from Jared Monroe, a former employee of Steven Crowder's show and company Louder with Crowder, went public saying he was being legally abused because of a non-disparagement and non-disclosure agreement and needed your help. So far, he's raised $72,000 with some very serious accusations against Steven Crowder.
So this story, like I thought it would, has ballooned into like 15 different stories as far as I'm concerned, because there's so many people at play in this situation. Then there's so many different angles that is coming out of this story that it's just a lot. It's a shame because all of this for one person. Wow. Number one, I want to be very clear. Yesterday, I was starting to, wonder, make some assessments like, is there something that Crowder is hiding from people and, like a double life kind of thing? And I did say, we'll wait to hear his side. And I'm glad that I kind of, definitely went back to that. When you hear the rest of what's going on, this is why you cannot rush to judgment with anything.
The latest news: Louder with Crowder has filed a lawsuit accusing Jared Monroe and Hillary Crowder of an extortion scheme. And I got to say, it does not look good for Jared and Hillary Crowder. Notably, just right off the bat, Steven Crowder's ex-wife claimed that she is in need of work and not doing so well financially. But according to court documents, Steven Crowder's been ordered to pay her $25,000 per month for the last 2 years. So something doesn't seem to add up.
Something certainly doesn't seem to add up, because I'm going to tell you right now, like $25,000 a month, bro. No, this whole notion too, when people say, oh, well, but when you're used to living a certain way, it's not enough. Then you better learn how to flip that money, invest in something else. That man is paying you $25,000 a month. You don't have to go to work with that, So, like, how could she ever think she wants more? She can't get a job. She's saying she can't. What job you're getting paid $25,000 a month? What job are you going to get that's going to pay you more? Even a registered nurse isn't making that much money. Wow. Okay.
Now, I don't know what Hillary Crowder, Steven's ex-wife, how she would respond to those reports. But I do think this is a very interesting story right now, considering, well, Steven Crowder's trending, and I've dealt with some legal issues in the past. And, this is big news in independent media. I'm not one to typically dive into these drama stories.
By the way, guys, if you like these episodes I'm making and me covering this story, please go ahead and hit the like button and please hit subscribe. Thank you.
And typically I avoid them because I believe it's infinitely more important to talk about things like the bridge collapse or World War III. And those are things I actually care about. But that being said, I can't deny it. I have a personal bias in this that two things. First, my personal bias is I've dealt with legal issues in the past, and I really want to understand how this stuff happens because I've had crazy stuff happen to me here at Timcast.
Gerald, who made a video about this whole situation, who went live this morning at 10:20 Eastern time. And so we'll look at a little bit of what he's saying. But I mean, the video is 30 minutes long and it's chock full of information. I'm going to have to chop it up. There's just no other way.
I just want to say off the top that none of this had to happen. None of it. Didn't have to be this way at all. We didn't choose this. It was chosen for us. In fact, as I'll tell you in just a few minutes, we went to great lengths to give people the ability to do the right thing, to honor their agreements, and to do what they said they were going to do. Unfortunately, they chose a different path. For the last year and a half, everything you've seen in the public eye has been part of a well-orchestrated plan. What is that plan? To assimilate damaging PR assets and wage a negative publicity campaign against Steven. I'll show you the quotes. I'll show you the text messages. I'll show you everything. All of the stuff that we did not talk about because we were giving people the opportunity to do the right thing.
Now, so we're going to watch a little bit more. So he's saying they did bring all the receipts. Eric Spracklin saying, wow, Crowder's team bought all the receipts. Like they really did. And they've even like retweeted the receipts and everything. We'll look at those, but we'll just listen to a little bit more.
Taking the hits, taking the hit pieces, dealing with all of it to give people the opportunity to do the right thing. They chose not to. I wonder why Jared decided to release his video yesterday. Just for some backstory, there had been no communication between our attorneys for a couple of weeks, so there was no impetus for it. The document compelling him to give a deposition had already expired on March 15th. So when he released his video yesterday, he asked you to contribute money for a lawsuit that did not exist, unless he's had a lawsuit that he would like to file, which he indicated maybe that was the case. We had not sued Jared.
So did you hear that? You know, this guy, when I played the clip, he just, I mean, it was 15 minutes long of wham, wham. That's how it felt for me, guys. Like, it just, I think at one point I was like, we're not going to suffer through this anymore, because I was like, yo, bro, man, like, get to the point. Like, what is going on? Anyway, but he so far has made $72,000 about a lawsuit that did not happen. You know, he's making it seem like, oh, I have a lot going on with legal fees and I have to pay all of this stuff. And, you know, I don't have it like that. I can't even work. They're telling me I can't work. And people are thinking legal fees as if you're going to court about something and you haven't. So you're grifting off of, that's not right.
We simply asked Jared to knock it off. I'll get into the timeline of that. But Tuesday, March 26th was the day that he chose to release his video. I wonder if it had anything to do with Wednesday, March 27th being the 5th day of mediation between Stephen and Hillary. Why release it the day before mediation? Mediation is a great opportunity for people to come together and resolve their differences peacefully. This is the 5th day. If you want to do some research on how many days it normally goes on during divorces, you can. It's not 5. Here's the time.
Yeah, I think it takes about a day or two.
But if you tell me by your actions, by ignoring easy off-ramps, easy opportunities to do the right thing, that you are not going to stop coming after me and coming after this company and coming after the employees that work here and that put blood, sweat, and tears into this business, if you tell me my choice is to fight you or let them be taken out, I am absolutely going to step up and fight for them.
All right. So we're going to look at some of the receipts because he does go through a lot of talking and explaining how he feels about the situation and that he's defending, of course, the company, Crowder, and the employees. You know, it makes sense. So again, Eric Spracklin says all the proof is finally coming out that Steven Crowder's wife has been trying to extort him via PR smear campaigns, and a ton of conservative influencers are going to have egg on their face on this. Crowder derangement syndrome, he named it that. That's funny. Is real, but facts don't care about your feelings, and that is true. This is why I never really like when I heard. So okay, last year, I remember when this was coming out around the summertime, like yeah, it was like the spring, summer, where Crowder, you know, there was like something coming out with his wife and a video and the ring alarm and everything. And people were jumping like, oh, Crowder's a bad guy. He's bad because he was talking to his wife in a very like stern and angry manner, right? And my thing was more like, hey, I just feel like at the end of the day, we only got one clip. You know, I don't know what really is happening on these people's lives. Like, I don't know what's happening in their lives outside of this clip. So I was kind of like, I don't think we should go this route with Crowder. Like, it was more of a wife thing to me. And a lot of people were worked up because they thought that he was coming at the Daily Wire. The egg on people's faces is going to be extreme. And we're going to have to talk about that because this also brings in other conservative influencers. But anyway, Gerald he's posting this thing where Per Hillary's father in Hillary's group text thread, here's a message liked by Hillary. The extortion scheme involves assembling a team to destabilize Stephen. I mean, this is extraordinary. Fully understand and agree that Hillary's goals and expectations for the outcome of this divorce reasonable and attainable, not necessarily according to Texas law precedent, but by employing a media / Brian Freeman and PR strategy that will significantly threaten this public persona and brand. You know what I mean? Like, what? So the dad, like, this is not right. And so what's happening here is that they wanted to take down Crowder, okay? And the full explanation of this, I mean, you have, okay, February 2017, 2023, Hillary and Jared met in Atlanta to discuss their strategy and took this picture. And, you know, this is when some of this stuff, I believe, was when, like, around the time Crowder started to come for the Daily Wire. And a lot of things start to connect in a different way, right? But they shared texts. Any scenario where Hillary and I team up is the end of him, talking about Stephen. It's his worst nightmare. Watch the real fear enter his eye when Tim asks questions. Jared to Hillary, I think there's a scenario where several of us would be willing to test all of that. I just don't want him anywhere near those kids. That really, really disturbs me. So the scheme was to maximize profits that she couldn't get through the courts. Per Hillary's father to Hillary and other family members in the group text, the longer the divorce proceedings go on, the worse the outcome for SC, which is Stephen Crowder. Remember the ring footage, Hillary deleted all other footage from that house and the Lake residence, which was expressly barred by the court. So yeah, she went back and deleted other stuff in the ring footage, in the ring alarm, and she wasn't supposed to. And they might have had footage with her yelling at Stephen, you know? I know how women are, you know, and so I know how women are. So when I saw that footage that time, I was like, I was like, she's baiting him. And I know how that sounds. I was like, because I know how women are. She was so quiet, like, okay, Stephen, okay. She knew the tape was on, you know, like he probably in his anger forgot that it was on, but I'm sure there's footage of her doing the same thing. All right, so just to jog our memory just a little bit more, I want to bring you guys back to the video. We'll watch a little bit of that.
Steven. Like, I can't go. Listen to me. You want to walk out right now? Listen to me. I can't go to the gym. I can't go to my parents. I can't call my friends. I can't be home. You're gonna take the car and leave me here. Hillary, just think of how boxed in you've made me.
What do you need me to pick up? I'll get it. I'll be back when I'm back.
No, that doesn't work either. You'll be back when you're back. That doesn't work either.
See,
Do you understand the difference between my life being set to the second and you going?
So, like, I remember this footage, and everybody was immediately like, "Hey, you know, Stephen Crowder is you know, hurts women," and I just was like, "This is an argument between two married people who are both pretty miserable right now." Like, that was really what I saw, and I also was like, she knows the camera's on. He forgot he's a little bit more hotter than her. And this is just good footage. We women, we know how to organize. We do. Bringing him up, not gay Jared. Oh my God, he said working for Crowder was horrible. He was mean. You couldn't be late. You couldn't even be a minute late to work. I remember hearing something like that. And I remember thinking, yeah, when you're building an empire, I'm pretty sure that you can't be late trying to build an empire. Furthermore, our regular jobs, people's regular jobs, you're not allowed to be a minute late. So why would it be any different with somebody like Stephen Crowder who's building a media machine? I remember hearing that type of messaging, and I was like, I don't think that it's necessary to really come at him about this. I mean, he's building an empire. So anywho, but then you had somebody who inserted themselves in because they wanted to get as much out of him as they could. It seems like was jealous or in some fashion about something, because even when you watch Jared's video, he's like, he told me I couldn't talk to my friends. That is a broad statement to make. Obviously, the paperwork said that you couldn't talk about the job. It's an NDA that you voluntarily signed. And then to find out that he made $72,000 from that video. First of all, I mean, hey, whatever, people need money, but at least give people all the receipts. When Jared kept showing the paperwork, he didn't really show you the paperwork. He had papers in his hand. I remember thinking that too, looking at the video. So there's that. Now these people inserted themselves together to come together. We're going to take Steven Crowder down. Why do this to your husband? Even if he is going to be your ex-husband, your children, you know, your kids are involved in this. Taking out Steven Crowder is not good for the movement, period. Now, while I definitely give a lot of these conservative pundits a hard time, if you will, or, you know, I'm definitely critical about their way of watering down the Israeli lobby problem that we have in our country. I'm not ready to throw out the baby with the bathwater here, because Steven Crowder was the one who had leaked the manifesto of that shooting that took place, you know, in Nashville, right? We need Steven Crowder for at least bringing some information that we may not get from anywhere else. All kinds of receipts coming out. So now you're the one who look like you're going to be the one. Now that $72,000 is going to get spent on legal fees, because they are going to sue you for extortion. And the evidence is looking that way. I can't deny what I'm seeing. And it's not looking good for Jared or Hillary.